Hello, everybody. Adelaja here. We want to welcome you today to the program and to the series on leadership that we are continuing. And please go and share the message. Go share the message with your friends and family members. Go share the message and go put the message in their inboxes if necessary. So share. Go share the message and tag as many people as you want. And we are continuing this self-leadership topic. And the topic today is self-leadership leads to people leadership. Self-leadership leads to people leadership. Self-leadership leads to people leadership. So what do I mean by leadership leads to people leadership? Well, what I'm talking about basically is that if you are really good in self-leadership, you will become a manager of men. If you are good in self-leadership, in managing yourself, in leading yourself, in putting things in the right order in your own life, that either you like it or you don't like it, men would demand for you to come and rule over them sooner or later. Or maybe not rule over them, but to come and guide them, to come and give them direction. You will need to come and lead somebody else if you are so effective in leading yourself, because there are so few people that really practice self-leadership, and because of the scarcity of self-leadership, most people are always in need of being led. Most people are looking for other men that will lead them. And there is a scarcity and a there is a deficiency of leadership and leaders, effective leaders. So if you will practice self-leadership and you are good in self-leadership, that deficiency of leaders and true leaders and selfless leaders will demand for you to become people leader, to become people leader. So self-leadership will lead you to become a leader of the people. Self-leadership leads to people leadership. So how do we do that? The most authentic way to become a people leader is to actually develop those people yourself. Is to develop your own leaders yourself. Is to, first of all, invest in people and then let them grow. Give them time to grow. Give them the allowance to grow. And as you invest in them and make them grow, then let them now prove themselves that they are ready to also become leaders. But before they become leaders, they have to become followers first. So when you are investing in people, and it's natural, when you invest in people, people follow you. When you give to people, people follow you. But when the only reason why people follow you really is because you are doing something for them. People don't follow you because you have pretty face. If they follow you because you have pretty face, because they want to marry you. But the real reason why they follow you is because you are giving them something. Either you are giving them knowledge, or you are giving them wisdom, or you are giving them encouragement, or you are giving them good mood, or you are giving them money, or you are giving them inspiration. You are giving them something. That's why people follow you. Nobody will follow you if you're not giving anything to them. Or you are giving them hope, or you're giving them faith. You're giving them something. That is why people follow you. So, but that's the most important way to lead, the most important way to live. Lead people not by looking for what you can get from them. Lead people not by looking to rule over them. Like people, the kind of leadership people practice in Nigeria, people follow, people say, okay, I want to become president, I want to become governor. Why? Because the other guy that was there is not good. So I'm going to distribute, I'm going to manage your own resources better than the other guy did. That's not leadership. True leadership is when it is me, myself, who created that resource. And through that resource, I'm serving you. Then is when I'm a leader. But when I'm coming, I'm saying, okay, put me there, just trust me, and then I'm going to manage your resources for you. No, 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 no. That is called positional leadership. And that kind of positional leadership will always lead to disappointment because he has not proved himself. He didn't go through the process. He just jumped to the top of the ladder. So if you really want to practice people leadership, the best way for you to do that is to become a people developer. Become a people developer. Have interest in developing other people. Fall in love with developing other people. Learn the skills of developing other people. And before I finish this series, I'm going to teach you some of that. I've already spoken on that in the earlier series, that a leader is a ladder, but I'm also going to tell you and teach you the nitty-gritties and the specific things you could do to become a people developer. But that will be a bit later. But but the basic thing is the thing that has helped you to become a self-leader, those principles that you have learned to become who you are, just go ahead and duplicate and teach other people the same principles. So the growth and development of people is the highest calling of a leader. So if you're a real leader, a leader might be able to do some things by himself. That's good. A leader might be able to inspire people, good. But the greatest criteria of a leader, your highest calling, your highest certificate, is to be able to grow people and develop people. You must become skillful in growing people and developing them. And the other day we were talking with one of the guys here, and he was telling me that he has seen so many people right now doing live broadcast on Facebook at a time when not too many people were doing it, even when I started. And this person was saying, but these people are mainly your disciples. Most of the people who do live broadcasts, at least talking about the issues of faith, are people who have been influenced one way or the other by DSA. And they were saying, but how did you do it? Some of them have never even met you, and some of them you've never even seen them before. But I mean, so many people who are coming from the platform, you go to the internet, anybody that is doing anything in regards to faith and Africa, 80% of them might be people that have been influenced one way or the other by DSA. So I told them, well, because you've got to have the skills. Even you don't need to meet people or live with them, or even having seen them before you could become a people developer. And but that is a certificate. That is a sign of approval. That is one of the highest compliments for a leader, that you have what it takes. You have the skills to actually develop people and grow them so that they will be able to do things themselves. So the growth and development of people is the highest certificate, highest approval, highest calling, highest mandate of a leader. So you can assess a leader by his successors or by his disciples, you could say. You can assess a leader by those people who are closest to him, who have been discipled by him, not necessarily closest to him, because sometimes people who are close to you, they don't see what you have, because familiarity breeds contempt. So people who are closest to you sometimes are the ones who will downplay most some of the things you have, because they are no more seeing you. Because whatever you are seeing all the time, you stop saying. If you are too close to something, you stop saying it. Like, for example, if this way, I'm seeing this cup that I'm holding, I'm seeing it very well, but when I bring it too close to my eyes, I stop seeing it. I cannot describe it anymore. I can't see it anymore. So something that becomes too close to you sometimes, that they lose value. They lose value for you. They lose respect for you, and that's what happens to your children. A lot of children, they respect their teachers more than they respect their parents. Why? Because the parents are too close to them. Because whatever you're seeing too much, or you see it all the time, you begin to lose respect for it, unless you control it. So unless you can control yourself and really discipline yourself not to fall into that fallacy of familiarity, because if you don't do that, familiarity will bring contempt. you'll begin to find fault instead of finding virtues. So, when we look at people, especially when we're too close to people who are great, because when we were far, they were greater in our eyes. But when we become closer, they are not as great anymore. Why that? Because when you become close to something, you stop seeing the values. You stop seeing the essence of the person. So, so you assess a leader not necessarily by the people who are closest to him, but the people who have been discipled by him, who have been tutored by him. Because sometimes your best disciples are not people who are close to you. Sometimes your best disciples are people who are learning from afar. Because that way, they are not going to fall into that fallacy of familiarity that breeds contempt. So that's why Jesus was only with his disciples for 3 years. It was enough. If he was going to be staying with them for another 10, 20 years, you'll be hearing stories like, I took and preached now. What is it? I took and healing. I'm doing healing now. I took and do that now. What is he doing that I cannot do? I'm the same as him now. So that is what familiarity does. Because access, when you have access to somebody, access is not just an opportunity. Access is not just a blessing. Access is also a test. Access is always a test, and few people pass the test of access. So not too many people pass that test. Most people fail the test of access, and they become contempt. And when they become contemptuous like that, they lose the old dignity and the old virtues that other people are saying. But even our human nature tells us that as a human being, we often look at people not to see their virtues, but to see their vices. Most people do that. Most people, you have to really train yourself to look at somebody and not be looking for the vices, but rather look for virtues that you could learn from. When you look at other people, most of the time, most people want to see where they are better or what makes them better, but not to look at another person and say, this person is better than me in this area, or how can I learn from them? So that is the fallen nature of man. It takes an informed person, someone that has refined himself, to look at any person and look for virtues that he could learn and he could gain from. Otherwise, most people will just look at your vices. Even if they are not there, they will find it. But the reason is because they want to use that to say they are not worse than you, or they are better than you, or they are as good as you. They want to find something to qualify them to think that they are not worse than you. They are not, you are not better than them. They are just as good as you are. That's why people look for vices. And that's why there's always problem with leadership and their disciples and their followers. So anyway, and of course, because any leader will have some vices, for sure. Any human being will have vices. And so, because when you see those, either you are going to stick to the vices or you are going to stick to the virtues. It depends on what you are looking for. And that's what makes the difference. But when you are a person of value and you see vices, you also see virtues and you stick to the virtues, because the virtues are the things you came for in the first place. That's why you came closer to that leader. But the vices, that's its own challenge, because you have your own vices too that are your own challenges. So anyway, but the thing we are talking about today is that growing and developing other people, growing and developing leaders is the best thing you could ever do. So it's not just good that I'm talking right now, but that's why I use the example of people who are doing live broadcasts. But the assessment of my success is not in how erudite I am. It's not in how oratory I am. It's not in how fluent and what they call it, how fluent I am. What's the word I'm looking for? How there's a synonym to fluent. Yeah, anyway, how oratory I am, but there's another word I was looking for. But that's not what it is. That's not even depending on how efficient or effective I am in what I do. But what matters is have I been able to develop other people? Have I been able to raise other people, develop other people? Yes. If I have been able to do that, then that is where the real assessment of a leader is. A leader must be assessed by the ability to grow people, Not grow like 10 people or become 100 people. No, no, no. Not numerical growth, not quantitative growth. I'm talking about qualitative growth. And that is what you are going to be assessed by. How many people have you been able to develop? And how good are they? Now, a leader, you should not be bragging about what you are able to do as a leader, but you should rather brag on what your disciples have been able to do. So, a real leader must assess himself not by his own accomplishments, but by the accomplishments of people he has been able to raise up. So, but I'm not talking about the kind of growth or raising up people, developing people the way people do it in churches these days. Because the way people do in churches is that they go and put good advertisement out or good praise and worship program out, or some people to come and laugh, what they call them, comedians. They go and put some comedians there so that you get people from other churches, and so you just do transfer membership or immigration membership, church immigration, and you say, oh, I have big church now, oh, my church is developed, it's grown, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about individuals, the ability to develop people individually, to make them from where they are, where they were yesterday, to become higher, to come higher to where they've never been to get vision for people, to help them accomplish and be able to do exactly what you are doing too, or even maybe better than what you are doing. So that is how you really assess a leader. Don't assess a leader by what he's able to do, but assess it by his successors, or by his disciples, or by his followers, by what they are able to do. So to a large extent, the success and the intelligence of a leader could be seen in his followers and his disciples. That's why Jesus went after 3 years, but you know what? What he started is still living today, 2,000 years later. And the reason is because of his disciples, his followers. So the success of Jesus, therefore, could be assessed not just by what Jesus did in that 3 years of ministry, but in what it has become all over the world now. That is the real success that we are talking about. That is the real success. Success is in your successors. Success is in the people you've been able to develop and been able to grow. There is a statement that I heard one day that says, every one of us that became successful in life only became successful because a lot of people contributed to that success, and I think it's true. The other side of that coin says, not too many people become successful unless a lot of people want them to be successful. So not too many people become successful until a lot of people want them to be successful. That is, a lot of people will have to put one contribution or the other into your life before we could see the success that we see today. And that's the reality of life. Some of those people might not even be aware that they have contributed to your success, because you have never seen them, maybe, or they might not even know you by name, but they have contributed to your success because you read their books or because you listen to their messages. But when we talk about not too many people become successful without the contribution of a lot of people. Not too many people become successful if too many people don't want them to be successful. What we are talking about is that, first of all, it starts with your family. Your father and mother, somebody contributed something to make you become a graduate of primary school or secondary school. The country contributed something. The schools, headmasters and teachers contributed something. So any one of us that has become successful today are only as a result of the contribution of a lot of people. So that's why you too must look at that and say, no, I own some other people also. I own people, I own humanity, I own others to contribute to other people's lives, because people contributed to my success. If other people contributed to my success, then I must contribute to the success of other people as well. And especially people who don't have too many people contributing to their success. We must all, put our hands together and try our best to always contribute something, to always give something, to make sure that other people become successful. Just by remembering that, hey, even me, myself, I wouldn't have become as successful as I am today if other people have not contributed to me. The same thing is true about all of us who are already leaders. Your own success as a leader also depends on how many leaders you have been able to produce and how many people you've been able to grow. Because the more you grow people, the bigger you become. Even if you are letting them go. The more you grow people, the more you develop people. Because even if you let them go, they are your extension anyway. Even the more they go, the farther they go, the farther they spread the news about you. So it doesn't really make sense to keep everybody under your umbrella in your church and say you can only be in this church, you cannot go and do your own thing. It's counterproductive. But if you let them go, the further they fly, the further they go, the further your glory goes and the greater your success becomes. So it only makes sense that we should develop people, we should contribute to other people. They will become successful, but their success will be your success too. I don't know if you all know about this Chinese proverb. The Chinese proverb says, if you are planning for 20 years, you want to plan for 20 years, you are looking at 20 years, grow a tree. But if you are planning for 10 centuries, grow men, grow people. So if you want to live for 20 years or for decades, grow a tree or build a house or give birth to children. That will only last for a few decades because your children will die and then their own children will not even remember that they came out of you anyway. So, but if you want to live for centuries, you really want to live for time and eternity, invest yourself in people. Grow people as wide as possible. Let them as scattered as wide and spread as they are. Grow them, invest in them, put energy and contributions to them, and put in as much contribution to them as possible. Invest in them and try. That's how you live for time and eternity. That's how you live for centuries. That's what Jesus did. He invested in people, he invested in the 12 disciples, and set them loose and let them go. And now Jesus is still alive and is known as the Lord and Savior of the world till today. Why? Because he invested. That's what he majorly did. Invested himself in people. And that's what God does. When God wanted to get himself a nation, he chose Abraham, invested himself in Abraham. And now the Abrahamic religions are Judaism are all descendants of Abraham. Christians are all descendants of Abraham. Muslims are all descendants of Abraham. Those are Abrahamic faith, Abrahamic religions. And because God invested in one man. So when we invest in people, and when the same thing, Jesus invested his own life on the earth so that we will all, in men, in us, so that we will all become children of God. So our greatness at the end of the day is going to be measured by the people we have grown and by the people we have developed. And to really become a people developer, we need to invest ourselves in other people. Give them time, give them our energy, our resources, our knowledge, our wisdom. Share with them what we know. Contribute to their good, to their well-being. Wish them well. Remember the fact that we too, somebody contributed to us before we became who we became. Don't just be interested in doing what you like to do, what you know to do. Take on the pain of teaching others what you know to do. Oftentimes, People are not grateful. But don't allow that to discourage you. Oftentimes, people will betray you. Don't allow that to discourage you too. Make sure that you do your own part. And your own part is that you sow yourself in people. You give your best to people. Whatever they do, either to be grateful or to spite you or despise you, is their own choice. But you do your own choice. Well, I think that will be what I will have to say to you today about self-leadership leads to people leadership. And I would like to encourage you to go and join our mentorship program, sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. It's for free. You can learn more about these things over there. And also, if you want to come to Ukraine for the History Makers Training, HMT, write to us by writing to hmt@godembassy.org, hmt@godembassy.org. And for those of you who want to get our books, you can read them for free on Amazon or Kindle Unlimited. You can buy them on Amazon too, but if you want to buy them cheaper, at a cheaper rate for yourself, then you need to write to my office. Write to dssbooks@gmail.com. If you write to dssbooks@gmail.com, then they will give you a better rate than on Amazon. For those of you who want to be receiving our messages on a daily basis, well, you send us your telephone number. Our telephone number where you should send your telephone number to is +38 098 596 3838. So that is our number on WhatsApp. Send us your own WhatsApp. I will be sending you our messages in a shorter format where you don't need to spend too much data on them. All right, so thank you so much. Go share the message with your friends and family today. And here we go. We will see you tomorrow. Peace.